everyone, it's Hope here, and for as long as I can remember, I've loved the Pokemon franchise. Pokemon was one of the only things that my two vastly different older siblings had in common, so it only became natural that when I came of age, they would get me into it as well. I started by watching the anime when I was a kid, and to this day, I still enjoy playing the newest games and watching the newly released anime. And since Ash is retired, I thought what a better way to reminisce about the Pokemon anime would be to talk about the weird ships I had as a kid. Starting off with a more tame ship, I shipped the man of the hour, Ash Ketchum, with, drumroll please, Serena. It was Serena. Oh lord, I can already hear the 20-somethings in the comments ready to hate bomb this video just because I don't ship Ash and Serena, but hear me out! I first started to watch the anime when Unova was releasing, and then I started to really binge it when Kalos was releasing, so of course I didn't ship Misty and Ash, because why would I ship something I wasn't even alive to see? Anyways, even though Serena x Ash was definitely one of my main ships, I don't really remember being a diehard about it, because in my mind it was already canon. I mean, the main character ending up with a childhood friend who had a crush on him is a staple in cartoon tropes, so I just figured that in my little baby mind that they were already canon. The ships I aggressively shipped, however, were the random weird ones that definitely were not going to be canon, but I really wanted to be. In fact, these ships were so random that they weren't even between the human characters. That's right, I shipped the Pokemon with each other. And you might be thinking, oh well Hope, that's not so weird, I shipped Pikachu and Veneri. No, that's not what I meant. Because I didn't ship the main Pokemon with each other, I shipped the Pokemon that were in the movies. Hear me out, alright? I had no idea how hated the Pokemon movies were when I was a kid. So every time Pokemon released a new movie, I was just like, Pokemon! And completely loved it. Honestly, I loved everything as a kid though, so keep Little Hope's interpretations with a grain of salt. Now I know you're all wondering what movie Pokemon did Little Hope slam together and ship in her head. So, you know how I said I watched the Unova anime as a kid? Well, the first ship I had was between Mewtwo and Red Genesect in the movie Genesect and the Legend Awakened. Oh my lord, I'm gonna die. Yeah, I know, pretty odd so far, but it gets weirder. You see, I remember loving this movie as a kid, but no joke, I remembered nothing about it until I watched it for this video. Now I know that the only reason I actually liked this movie was because I shipped Mewtwo and Genesect so much. I know this for sure because the only thing I can remember is fast-forwarding through all the Ash and Friends parts because I wanted to see what was going to happen between the Genesects and Mewtwo. And it was really funny because I was 8 years old looking on fanfic.net to find any fanfics between Red and Mewtwo, and I only found like 2, which, looking back now, is a lot more than expected. Filming this video now, though, there is so much more fan art than there was when I was a kid. Truthfully, this was my favorite ship as a kid. I would imagine stories between the two all the time, and then just never write them. Before we talk about the ship itself, though, I'm going to give you guys some character summaries on Mewtwo and Red Genesect, so that way you can understand their personalities and goals. By the way, I'm going to be spoiling the Pokemon movies with these characters' mentions, so click off the video if you want to watch them, then come back here and watch this video. Please, I'm desperate! Okay, let's talk about Mewtwo first. They aren't the one from the original movie. They are a new one created for this movie. But they're a girl, and they've got a Mega Evolution. Ooh, ah! I don't know why they didn't just use the original Mewtwo, because the whole arc was that he was the only one of his kind, and he was very depressed and dangerous because of that. But there's another one, so what was the point of all of that? I heard it was gonna be the same Mewtwo, but then there was a change because of the voice actors, so I don't know. So Mewtwo's backstory is the same as always, blah blah blah, DNA of Mew, blah blah blah, experimentation, blah blah blah, escapes through murder, blah blah. So unlike the warmongering Mewtwo from the first movie, this one doesn't want anyone dead, just the humans, and really isn't trying to hurt them, just wants to be left alone by them, honestly. Heck, she even saves Ash and Friends when they were attacked. But then coldly states she was only doing so to protect the Pokemon. Yeah, unlike the previous Mewtwo, this one kinda acts like the other Pokemon's guardian angel. This is because Pokemon were the ones to save Mewtwo after they were abused. So basically, Mewtwo's besties with all the wild Pokemon now and always protects them from all harm. Which is honestly adorable. We need more of this Mewtwo. This is how Mewtwo met all the Genesects, specifically Red, hehehe. And yes, I know how it sounds, but calling him Red is simpler than calling him the Red Genesect or just the shiny one. As previously mentioned, Red is a shiny Genesect, and he is the leader of all the other Genesects, who all just came back from the dead due to Team Plasma wanting to use them as Pokemon guns? And for some reason, they didn't expect the Genesect to fight back with said weapons? So the Genesect escape, and they are super confused about what's going on. And Red is just trying his best to lead his team back to their old home, and then they almost die. Because now their home's on a snowy mountain, and there's an avalanche coming. Because it's a cartoon, and of course there's going to be an avalanche on a snowy mountain. And they would have been extinct again if Mewtwo hadn't saved them. Well, except for Red. Not the best start for a ship, but it could be worse. Red survives, though, and Mewtwo learns their backstory by reading the mind of the child Genesect? Alright. Mewtwo then tells the Genesect that they are hundreds of years in the future. Red, understandably, freaks out, but then he tries to shoot Mewtwo? Oh my god. Okay, a really rough start, but I'm sure there's more to this ship, right? Literally nothing. Like, no joke. They literally meet, and then they're fighting for like 95% of the movie. Mewtwo keeps fighting with Red, though, because the Genesect are destroying a bunch of property in an attempt to find a home. Then Ash, oh, I forgot he was in this movie, says, "No, fight Pokemon should love." And all the other Genesect realize they probably shouldn't be murdering everyone. Then the Red Genesect, who's kind of been acting like a controlling, home-wrecking douche throughout the entire movie, realizes the error of his ways through A. Red realizes the harm he's doing to his own team and stops. B. Was under mind control due to the gun's influence, and by removing it, they save him. C. He realizes the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant, and this is what you do with the gift of life that— Just kidding, none of those! After Red tried to attack his own team, Mewtwo takes him to space with the power of Mega Evolution, where they both see the Earth. And this is what makes Genesect realize what he did was wrong, and that we're all friends on Earth. What? That's so dumb! I mean, I guess this was supposed to be like his corruption point because he was turning on the people he was trying to protect. But I feel like his redemption should have been realized through, I don't know, his family, the ones he's been trying to protect for the entirety of the movie. Instead of him turning on them and Mewtwo being the one to save the day. That's not even the craziest part, though. The craziest part, though, is that it was this ridiculous moment that made me ship them. What? Guess Little Hope really saw this and she was like, I can fix him. No, you cannot fix him, Little Me. He's most definitely a murderer. Also, I'm fully convinced Mewtwo was going to kill him in space, but wanted to try one more Hail Mary attempt to stop this peacefully so the other Genesects wouldn't lose their leader, and was genuinely surprised when it actually worked. But the real question is, do I ship them now? No. But I think it would be funny if they were friends now and they just casually mention sometimes that they both tried to kill each other that one time. Like, they'll be having flying races and then Genesect will just casually mention, hey, remember when I almost killed you? And then Mewtwo's like, you mean when I almost killed you? Nah, I was totally winning. Why do you think I took you to space? What? I had to find a way to hide the body. Anyways, yeah, on a scale of 1 to 5 Pokeballs for shippability, I give it 0. Because they literally tried to kill each other. Now for my next ship, I had it when I was older and more mature. So when I was 11, the Pokemon X and Y series was coming out, and I immediately fell in love with it. With its lore building with squishy and engaging character arcs for Ash and his friends. Also, the actually feared villains in the series had such great plans, and they were so interesting. And when I saw the characters in the Mega Evolution special appear in the main anime, I was so hype. But enough about me gushing over Kalos. And instead, gush over my favorite ship in one of the Kalos movies. So my Kalos ship was between the Pokemon Volcanion and Magearna from the Pokemon movie, Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. And I remember really liking this ship as a kid, but it wasn't my favorite, as that honor went to the train wreck that is Mewtwo x Red Genesect. Before we talk about the ship of Volcanion x Magearna though, I'm going to share my thoughts and do a little summary of the Pokemon movie. And already this movie is 10 times better than the Genesect one. Little me really liked the Genesect movie better because of nostalgia plus the Mew Red ship. Yes, I gave it a name. Don't judge me. But now watching this, I like the Volcanion one much better because not only are Ash and his friends more useful, and more importantly, more entertaining in this movie, but the original human cast in this movie are actually memorable characters. Like the brother and sister's conflict about trying to make their kingdom better, but they both have very different ways of doing so, is a fascinating turmoil. And the fact that the brother's desire to save his kingdom allowed him to be manipulated by the villain is such an engaging storyline, even if most people can see it coming. Like, I know nothing about the character in the Genesect movie, other than he ran a Pokemon Sanctuary or something. I also noticed when I was watching the Genesect movie that this random dude got more screen time than Team Rocket. I'm calling BS. Speaking of Team Rocket, in the Volcanion movie, they have a super engaging plot. With first helping the movie villains, cause they need money, but after realizing they're absolutely crazy, they get super pissed and turn on them. Which obviously fails, because they're Team Rocket. But they at least try to help Ash and friends, even though they also fail at that. And Meowth, who's separated from Jessie and James, acts as Magearna's voice when her soul is taken hostage in the film. Which segues us into talking about our two shippable Pokemon. First we have Magearna, who's this immortal man-made Pokemon who was created by this scientist called Nicola to create a gap between human and Pokemon. And you'd think with this Mewtwo-esque story that she'd be bitter, but no, she's a sweetheart to both humans and Pokemon. And she even acts all motherly to all the abandoned Pokemon in the Flower Valley. Now let's talk about our other star, Volcanion. He's also an immortal legendary Pokemon who, unlike Magearna, is very untrusting of humans and has a grumpy personality. And at first glance, you may think this ship is going to be a dumpster fire like the last one, but you'd be wrong! Even though Volcanion acts all rude to Ash and friends, he genuinely cares about all the Pokemon in the valley and acts as their protector. Even stating that the reason he hates humans is not because of any harm they did to him, but because of the harm they did to the Pokemon in the valley. Which is so wholesome, oh my god. And him and Magearna together are so damn cute. He's always trying to protect her, and he even tries to save her multiple times in the movie when she's kidnapped by the villains. Magearna also really cares about Volcanion, giving him flowers to help him calm down. And she's the only one who can handle his explosions, in the sense of uncontrollable power. And she's not afraid to scold him when he's metaphorically exploding at all the humans. But don't worry, this isn't, I can fix him energy. This is more like, I can accept him for who he is energy, which is a welcome change, due to the fact that old kid shows like Pokemon will often have couples bicker with each other in a way that makes it look like they hate one another, which is so toxic, but we don't have time for all that. Throughout the movie though, they have so many cute moments. My favorite, and the one I remember loving as a kid, was after Volcanion saves Magearna and the two cuddle, and then Volcanion states, "For you, I would walk through fire and water." Oh my god, they are so married. This is by far the superior ship, and gets a 5 out of 5 Pokeball rating. I'm not gonna say anything more about this film, because I genuinely think you should watch it. If not for the ship, then for the plot. Because it's much more interesting, and utilizes Ash and his friends in a better way than just, "Stop fighting, guys!" Well, that just so happens to be the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed the commentary and drawings. I'm thinking about doing more of these types of media storytelling videos, along with talking about my original characters more in long-running videos, including my own Pokemon fan series I wish to create. And I've got a lot to say, so comment below what you want to see. I'm going to try and do videos like this one more often, so I hope you stick around, even if it might be a little while since I'm still in school. I hope you all enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to see more. See you later, Gators and Animators. Bye!